What's up YouTube? Yellow Samurai X here with another video, and today I'm going to be talking about the free agency market for the Golden State Warriors. So this is part 2 of my off-season talk for the Warriors, where we're really going to be talking about free agency. So just to be clear, this is going to be more of a dialogue. If you have any questions for me or you have any comments about what I have to say, definitely leave them in the comments below so that we can have a dialogue about this, because this is, in my opinion, one of the most important off seasons for the Golden State Warriors, at least for the next couple of years. So yeah, let's get into it. So first off, let's talk about trades a little bit more. I know I talked about it a lot in my last video, but I think it's important that the fan base understands where the Golden State Warriors are with trades, because it definitely feels like there's still a lot of people out there who feel like if we don't make a trade, then that's the end of the world. And it's not. It's okay. You can just take a breath. Whether we make a trade or not, we'll be fine. Okay. So that being said, I do not think that there will be a trade in the free agency. I think that if there is a trade, it'll be one that, is so good that the Warriors can't pass it up. But I think if they were going to make a trade, it would have to be for like a superstar level player, and I just don't see any of those players available in free agency. The one trade that I think they could make is Kelly Oubre, a sign and trade. Because they're capped right now, they can't really, sign and trade him for another guy who would be signed and traded. But I think they could sign and trade him to a team for a guy who's already on contract if they wanted to. So that's pretty much the only trade I could see them doing. Maybe also some of the guys who might not be there on the roster next year, or at least the ones that you don't think will be there next year. They might be thrown into a trade. I could see them being even traded for like maybe future picks or cash consideration, as they like to say. Yeah, I don't really think that they're going to be moving the lottery picks or Andrew Wiggins in this offseason. In this offseason. But I do think that we need to get at least 2 to 3 veteran players on the bench. I think that in and of itself, depending on who we get, will be a huge boon to the Golden State Warriors, because last year we didn't really have too many veterans on the bench, and a lot of that had to do with the fact that the free agency market last year was not really all that great. But this offseason, there is a really good free agency market, and there are a lot of great guys that I think would be perfect fits for the Warriors if they're able to get them. So again, just to kind of talk about where the Warriors are, I think the best they can offer people is the mid-level exception, which is like a $6 million minimum. And yeah, I think that's the most they can offer anyone. But I think it's more about who they should be targeting in the free agency market to bring onto the Warriors. So in my opinion, there's 3 guys who I feel would be perfect fits, and if the Warriors could somehow get these guys onto the team, I think it would just completely put them at the top of the list in the West. So the first guy I want to talk about is Nicholas Batum. So the first person I want to talk about is Nicholas Batum. Now, Nicholas Batum is a free agent. He was playing with the Clippers last season. I don't know if he'll re-sign with them, but he was one of the guys. I remember there was a report where last year there was a couple of guys that said that they would have come to Golden State if Clay didn't get hurt, and one of those guys was Nicholas Batum. Nicholas Batum would also, fill in the bench at like a lot of the spots where we're missing a long wing, a bigger guy who can play a small ball five if we need him to, but who can also play the four, who can also play the three. He's a great defender, but also a great shooter, so he can space the floor. He would be an absolute perfect fit for the Warriors if he would want to come over this year now that Clay is coming back. And yeah, it just kind of depends on him. If he wants to stay in, LA on the Clippers and try and compete with them again for another title, or if he wants to go to somewhere else to try and compete for a title. But I definitely feel like the Golden State Warriors is like a perfect fit for him. He's pretty much the general type of guy they need, a wing who can, defend different positions and who can space out the floor with his shooting. So I feel like that will probably be one of the guys who's at the top of the list for the Warriors to try and come over in free agency. Another guy who I feel like the Warriors should really, really pursue and try and get him over here is Rudy Gay. Now, Rudy Gay is one of the guys who I believe the report out was that one of the guys that they contacted when Clay got his Achilles injury was Rudy Gay, who went through a similar situation. Not only is Rudy Gay like the perfect person to come off the bench for the Warriors, but he's a 34 years old veteran. He's probably looking to compete for a title this year, and having a guy in the locker room that's been through what Clay has gone through and can be that mental support for him as well in the locker room, I think would be an absolute amazing guy to have in there with them. But not only that, he's a lot like Nicholas Batum. He's a bigger guy who can play a small ball five if we need to. He can play the four. He can space the floor with his shooting. He's a great passer. So yeah, he's a great guy who could play some really solid minutes for the Warriors off the bench. And then the third guy that I would really like them to try and pursue is Patty Mills. Now, Patty Mills is probably, no, I would say I think Patty Mills is probably the best point guard on the free agency market in terms of experience. And the reason why I say that is, for one, he's a champion in his own right? But he's also played in so many playoffs. He's had a ton of international experience as well. And right now he is lighting people up on the Olympic stage. So, like, Patty Mills is absolutely amazing. I think him and Steph playing together too would be really good because he can shoot, because he can get to the basket really easily. He's a great passer. He's very intelligent. He's pretty much everything the Warriors need in a veteran point guard. And I really don't think they could find a better person fitted to what they need right now. A couple of other mentions at the point guard position. And it's important to bring this up because I know a lot of people were talking about them drafting a point guard because they kind of need another guy to come off the bench. Nico Mannion would have been a good choice as well. He's like absolutely exploding on the Olympic stage right now. He's pretty much one of Italy's best players, and he's been improving in pretty much every area that the Warriors needed him to improve in. His 3-point shooting hasn't been the best all the time, but as a playmaker, as getting to the basket and scoring, he's been absolutely phenomenal. But I think it was always noted that the Warriors kind of need like that veteran presence at the point guard position, and that's why a lot of people were saying like maybe they'll draft Davion Mitchell or some of these guys. And I was always kind of like, no, what they really need is a veteran point guard off the bench. Patty Mills fits that exceptionally well. After that, the top guys would probably be like Reggie Jackson, who will probably get a pretty big bag from the Clippers this offseason, so I don't think he'll come, play for us, but he would be up there as well. Derrick Rose would also be another good one. New York is trying to get younger. I know they're trying to look into getting Lonzo Ball to come play point for them. So that mixed with the fact that they have so many guards already. So all of that put together pretty much means that, Derrick Rose is not really on their mind for the future. He was more like a guy who, if we really want to try and get it done this year, it'd be really good to go out and get him. They weren't able to do that, and so now I think they're going to try to, get some of these younger guys like Lonzo Ball. I know they were interested in Kyle Lowry. I don't know if he'd go there, but I think the big point is Derrick Rose will probably be gone, and the Golden State Warriors would be a great position for him as well. Going to a place where he doesn't have to be the number one option, and he can really just rely on his skills and be a really good veteran presence off the bench for some of these young guys like a Jordan Poole, and take that pressure off of him to perform. Another really good one would be Austin Rivers. He played a really good part for Denver in the playoffs this year without Murray. The one issue with him though is he is kind of young himself, but if you want a guy who has some playoff experience, who can be a really good presence off the bench, and you can't get the guys that I just mentioned, he would be a good one. You could get Lou Williams and have him run the point. You could get JJ Redick and have him run the point. I know Avery Bradley was one name that kind of came up a bit as well. So there are a lot of, I didn't even mention all of them, but there are a lot of options that they could go for the veteran point guard. So I was never really interested in drafting a point guard. So I'm kind of glad the draft worked out the way that it did. But if you're looking for next year, they probably won't want to give that position to Nico Mannion, even though I think he could do it if they really wanted him to. It'd be more like, because when you're a rookie, it's really hard to perform when you don't really know if you're going to be playing or not. But the two big times when he had a lot of playing time, a lot of playing minutes, which is the Olympics and in the G League, he performed really well. So he could do that if they really wanted him to. But I think like getting a guy like Patty Mills, for instance, who could finish games with you, and you could run step at the two, I think that is more in line with what they want going into next year. Nico Mannion's more of a guy who they probably will want a couple years after that, maybe, to really be that guy. But I don't think he's the guy right now. A guy like Patty Mills would be really good for them though. So yeah, get Patty Mills. It's basically what I'm saying. Get Patty Mills. There's a lot of good guys, but get Patty Mills. But yeah, there's also some really good guys out there that, if they're not able to get some of the top guys that I want, Carmelo Anthony is another interesting one out there. I think the Lakers also want him too, so that would be kind of a hard get. But Carmelo Anthony, Kelly Olynyk would also be really good ones if you need size. So those guys would be good. I'm trying to think. There's someone else who I really was looking at. Okay, so another thing while it's on my mind, Kevin Love is a name that comes up a lot too. The thing with Kevin Love is Kevin Love would need a buyout from Cleveland. And even though a lot of people have talked about, Cleveland buying him out, I don't really know if you can put a lot of faith into, them buying him out. The other thing is Kevin Love is also a guy who is very injury prone. So I don't know if for me, he's kind of like a last stitch effort. Again, like if you're not able to get some of the guys that I mentioned, Rudy Gay, Nicholas Batum, Patty Mills, then Kevin Love, if he does get that buyout, would be pretty good. But he wouldn't be like my first priority. But yeah, there are some other good names out there as well. Otto Porter Jr., which is another one that has always come up with the Warriors as probably a possible good fit. He's another one who's kind of up and down sometimes, so I don't really know if putting a lot of faith in him would be best. But if, again, you're not able to get the top of the free agency and he's still available, he would be fine. Let's see. Let me see. I actually had the free agency thing up. Let me see. Let me pull it up. So yeah, who can they get? Because there are some really good free agents on the market, but it's like, who can they actually, envision themselves getting? Like for instance, DeMar DeRozan would be really great, but I don't really see them being able to get DeMar DeRozan. Goran Dragic. What did Goran Dragic? I think Miami declined his player option, I think. So I think he is on the free agent market as well. So he'd be another one that you could consider at the point guard position if you needed it. Let's see, who else is available? Evan Fournier might be available. Who knows? Bobby Portis is another big one that just hit the free agency market because he declined his player option. So yeah, that would be a really good one as well. He was just amazing for Milwaukee in their win in the finals this year. I don't know if he would come to Golden State. He'll probably look for a place where he can get paid and go for a title. So yeah, Andre Iguodala is another one. Iggy coming back would be awesome. It'd be a really fun, addition. But I don't think Miami has taken that club option yet. We'll see what happens. One trade idea that I did have was like, this was before the draft, was like trade Kelly Oubre in the 14th pick for Andre Iguodala and Precious Achiuwa, but I really doubt they would have allowed that one, but that would have been great. And now that we have Moody anyways, I don't really like that trade as much, but New Orleans Noel would be an interesting one if they're looking for a big man. He's a guy who could play the position, right? He's not a guy who's going to be like amazing for you, but he can go out there, he can give you some solid minutes. So Enes Kanter is another one too, where like they're not the most amazing player, but if you need someone who can go out there, who can give you some solid minutes off the bench, then they would be good names as well. JaVale McGee is another one who I've heard them mention. I don't know if I would want them to pick up JaVale McGee now. I think he's a little bit older now. He's getting a little bit slower. I don't know really how much minutes he can give us off the bench if we did get him. But, I mean, he would be a nice addition. Let me see. Bismack Biyombo was an interesting one. Now that we got Jonathan Kuminga, that was one where I was kind of like, that would be kind of interesting to add Bismack, but I don't know. Again, only veteran minimums. You probably could get a guy like Bismack, but yeah, it really kind of depends on what else is out there for the Warriors. Cameron Payne was another one who could be a veteran point guard. He was amazing in the finals, really the whole playoffs, but I really do think he's going to go back to the Suns, so I'm not really putting too much stock in that. Duncan Robinson is a name. I think that was the guy who I was thinking of. Duncan Robinson was one who a lot of people were talking about maybe trading Kelly Oubre for. I think they could just sign him outright if he really wanted to come to Golden State, which is one reason why I wasn't really too fond of that trade idea the whole time. But yeah, he could come over if he really wanted to, and if the Warriors thought they needed more shooting. So yeah, those are some of the guys that I would have my eye on if I was the Golden State Warriors. But all in all, the guys who I really would like them to add: Nicholas Batum, Rudy Gay, and Patty Mills. I really like Patty Mills and Rudy Gay because they've played together. I think that instant chemistry off the bench would be really good. And I do think that adding a guy like Patty Mills will alleviate a lot from Jordan Poole, especially since he won't have to be the on-ball guy, and he could play more off-ball like he wants to, and actually be that sixth man of the year type of player that we really want him to be next year. So all in all, I think what they're able to do in free agency is really what's going to make or break next season. It wasn't really ever going to be about, what trade they could and could not get, or what person they drafted, or any of that really. It was always going to be about who can they put off the bench to come in and play really good minutes when the stars are sitting down, because that was their biggest issue last year, not having enough bench production once your stars were sitting down. So I think adding guys like Patty Mills, who can go in and be an instant game changer in and of himself, or guys like Rudy Gay and Nicholas Batum, who can play big but also who can spread the floor out. I think adding guys like that to the bench will instantly make them favorites to win the West next year. So that's pretty much all I had. Let me know in the comments down below, who was it that I missed on the free agent market that you think the Warriors would be very apropos to sign this free agency. I don't even think that was the word I was looking for, but who cares? Who did I miss? What do you think they should do in the free agency? Like I said, I don't think there's going to be any trades aside for maybe a Kelly Oubre Jr. trade for a guy who's already has a contract, maybe a lower paying contract. But yeah, I don't really see it too much, but we'll see. But we'll see what happens this offseason. Anyways, that's all from me. Make sure to like this video if you liked what I had to say, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.